Hey friends, so I have a little bit of a confession to make. Remember how, well, of course you do, if you are following along, which I don't really have any followers. I do these videos more for myself, and if somebody's watching along, hopefully you're inspired to work on your house or take on these big projects or travel like what we are. And yet again, we are prepping for another Disney World vacation, and so really excited about that. Want to take you along with us. Want to show you some of the updates we have going on at the house. We worked really hard on it last summer, a lot of stuff outside, so we're going to peek out there. And then show you some of the stuff that we've got coming up for packing for our trip. We're driving down and we're camping at Fort Wilderness. So if you don't know about it, Walt Disney World has a full campground that's been there since the beginning in 1971. I believe it opened right away. Actually, I don't think it did. I think it opened the next year. Anyway, it's been there since the 70s, just like this house. And this will be we were trying to figure out last night if this is our fourth or fifth trip camping down there. And we have some exciting news. We got engaged this last year, so we've been doing wedding planning, working on the house. We got 2 kittens. We got the chickens. So really turning this place into a homestead. And actually I'll show you the kittens here in a second. They're inside. This week is so cold. We had negative temperatures in like negative 20. And then the wind chill was like negative 45. So I did bring the kittens. I mean, they're like 10 months old now. But they came inside and we added a little bit of a heater to the chicken coop. Everybody's doing good. I do feel bad. The chickens got a little bit of frostbite. This is our first year having chickens. And we've been following all the Facebook groups. And it sounds like everyone's been struggling with frostbite. So that makes me feel a little bit better. But I've been trying so hard to keep them as comfortable as possible and using coconut oil on their combs and all that kind of stuff. So but I want to give you some of these updates here at the house and then show you a couple of the tips and tricks that we have for packing. It's supposed to be down to 26 degrees our first night camping at Fort Wilderness. So just going to do this vlog style, bring you along with us. Don't mind, I have no makeup on today. I have been, it's been so dry. I don't know if you can tell, my lips are super chapped. I've been using coconut oil on my face to try and re-moisturize. It's just been so bad. So anyway, prepping for vacation, and I want to show you how we have our save the dates. I don't know if you see ours up here on the fridge. A little selfie from our Niagara Falls vacation, which I do have a video on my YouTube channel from that if you haven't seen it. That's in one of our travel playlists. Ton of fun. We took an Amtrak train there. I'd love to do some more Amtrak train trips. And then we're going to mail these out from Main Street, USA in Magic Kingdom. So we'll take you along with that day and show you what that looks like. And then I have over here, I kind of staged it for you guys so it was easy to see. I'm going to flip you around. I have addressed one of them, well actually 2 of them, to Mickey and Minnie Mouse. One going to California to Disneyland and one going to Florida in Disney World. And I've written sweet little notes to Mickey and Minnie, telling them how much the parks have meant to us over the years. So I'm going to read you this one. It's kind of cheesy, so hopefully, I don't know, you guys like it. But dear Mickey and Minnie, we're so excited to be writing you with our honeymoon dreams headed west to California. After celebrating our 1-year countdown in Walt Disney World, which is what we're doing coming up here soon, our wedding in Wisconsin, which is a year from now, we'll be joining you for our honeymoon at Disneyland. We truly couldn't imagine a more meaningful place to begin our happily ever after. This will be our first visit to Walt's original park, and we're beyond excited to finally walk the paths where his dream first came to life. There is something so special about knowing we'll be celebrating the start of our marriage in the park that started it all. The park Walt himself envisioned, a place built on imagination, optimism, and the belief that happiness can be shared, no matter your age. Walt Disney World, thank you, Roy Disney, has been such an important part of our journey together as a couple, and now continuing that journey at the place that it began feels full circle. Thank you for welcoming us to Disneyland for such a once-in-a-lifetime celebration. See you in February of 2027. Love, Catherine and Nicholas, aka Katie and Cole. So I'm excited to send that. I don't care if I get anything back from them or not. Just kind of cool to be sending that to them from Main Street in Magic Kingdom. So hello to Mr. Duke and Charlie, my little mouser kittens. They actually came from a lady who had too many kittens, and she was just giving them away and needed homes for them desperately. So I took on 2 of them as barn cats, but they are, as you can see, quite spoiled. So for being barn cats, I try to keep Duke groomed because of his long hair. And then, as always, lady, what are you doing? Where'd you go? She got this little lamb chop, actually a huge lamb chop for Christmas from Cole, and has just loved playing with it. So that's what that commotion is. We got this from a friend of ours. His wife's grandpa had this, and they didn't know what to do with it. They tried selling it on a garage sale for $5, and I was like, oh my God, I love it. He needs a better home than right here in front of the door, but eventually, once we get all of the construction stuff out of the living room and dining room, he'll have a better home. And then we got new furniture this year. It's used furniture from my aunt. But it's just so weird having this nice furniture, and I really appreciate that she gave it to me next to all of our lumber and construction supplies. But we try to keep it as clean in here as we possibly can, which if you don't have a robot vacuum and ever thinking about getting one, I absolutely love this robot vacuum. It's a Shark, and this is the hopper right here. So that's what you empty, is that. It does such a great job. I absolutely love having it. I don't know how well it would do it on carpet, and the only bad part about it is that it does bump into the chair legs because they're so little, so you can kind of see the rub spot. I added these foam pads to them to try and keep it from damaging the wood, because you can see where it rubbed, which is kind of a bummer. So I'm hoping that helps. Oh, it is dusty. But it's been really helpful having that robot vacuum. And he lost his little foot, so we need to do some maintenance on him. But this summer, I'm hoping to get all of our trim up and done. And we redid the mudroom over Christmas break. So excited to have this space going. So this had been a solid wall with a slider closet door, and open that up. But I did order cabinets for in here from Eddie, the cabinet maker that did the kitchen cabinets. So we're going to have like a wardrobe in here, a his and hers for our jackets. And then this entire corner is going to be a great big shelf, floor to ceiling, for shoes. And I think it has 9 shelves in it that are adjustable. So I'm really excited for that, because this is not enough room for my shoes. This right here, I designed in there that this bench would constantly be in here or have room in here. That bench came from an old schoolhouse, and my brother restored it when he was in like 4th grade. But I really love that bench. So, and then this is a hall tree that he made for me, kind of hidden by all of our coats, because we don't have any other coat storage. So, but it's nice having that. And then the last tour that I gave you, we didn't have carpet put back down here yet. So we did decide to reuse the carpet that was up here. It was in pretty good shape, mainly because we had a dog that was aging. We absolutely loved her. Her name was Riley, and we did put her down a couple months ago. So we're sad to, I don't know, I don't want to talk about it. But with an aging dog, it's just a struggle to have carpet. And really, it's a struggle to have a carpet with this dog. She comes in with sand on her paws and such. So I don't know if we'll ever do replace this. We should at some point. Maybe look into doing hardwood or something. And then in here, we redid this closet. So I have a little bit of trim left to do up there where the ceiling is. And then we're also getting some built-in dressers for this space that Eddie is making. And then obviously the trim for that window. I did put up little curtains though, because the sun comes directly in that window quite a bit throughout the day. And I don't want our clothes to fade. So I just quickly toss those up just temporarily. There's the chicken coop. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's just going to focus on the screen. I need to take those out, but you know, only so much time in the day. But excited to have a functioning bedroom up here now, since this is the only fully operational bathroom in the house. And we were staying previously in the spare bedroom. So excited to have that done. But I'm going to work on packing a little bit more so that then I can show you what we have packed to prep for camping. Yeah, I guess that's it. And then I'll try and do some videos from our trip. I don't know if I'm going to break them up by day or by activity. We have so much planned. I'm so excited for it. And excited to take you along with. I almost forgot. I promised that I was going to show you what we did outside at the house. It's cold and windy out there, so hopefully you can hear me once I get out there. If not, I'll mute myself doing this voiceover, and then I'll do another voiceover with my microphone. Does that make sense? All right, it's really cold out. But we put new siding on the house. Next summer, we're going to redo the soffit and fascia and put on permanent holiday lighting. And then we also redid the deck out here. We have to put the new railing up still, and then we're building a patio around the back side of the house. We haven't quite finished the decking there. We're putting gutters on the house and then redoing the retaining walls. So that's all kind of like temporarily done. Just for the winter, we ran out of summer. So, oh, it's cold. I gotta go back in. I got to thinking about it, and I didn't tell you what our schedule looked like for this upcoming week in Disney World or how we go about planning. So this year we are driving because we want to take our bikes down to go to the Fort Wilderness. We have flown and checked our tent as our checked luggage before, but we wanted to do a little bit of a different trip this year because we've been so busy with the house and have a little bit more of a relaxing time at the Fort Wilderness camping. Last year we stayed in hotels, but we missed the camping at the fort. So I just wanted to go through our schedule. So we're driving through the night, straight through, just taking turns, hoping to hit Atlanta, Georgia by 8 a.m. So they were there right around 2. Check-in is at 3. Typically, the campsites are, because checkout's at 11, and they don't have a ton of stuff to do to prep the campsite before you check in. So typically, the campsites are open and ready for you before 3. But either way, we're going to set up our camp. We are bringing decorations to decorate our campsite. And then for dinner that night, we're going to hit up the food trucks and maybe go to the fort, the movie down there by the Chippendale Campfire Sing-Along. We've walked by that in the past, and it isn't for us. We're not the correct demographic. AKA, it's kind of cheesy. I can see why kids love it, though. Like, super cool event. I'm glad that they do it. I think it's really cute for them. Something we're not really interested in. But then Sunday, we are doing a day at Disney Springs. So Disney Springs opens every day at 10 a.m. And we have Sunday brunch at Wine Bar George at 10:45. And my goal is to buy the white autograph ears, and I'm going to try taking them to the Christmas shop and having them personalized with marker, just like they do on the ornaments, but for our upcoming wedding, because we're celebrating our countdown and our engagement with this trip. I'm going to wear those white ears on this trip, as well as our honeymoon at Disneyland. And then after we've spent the morning and early afternoon at Disney Springs, we're going to take a boat over to the French Quarter, Port Orleans French Quarter. So I'll show you how to find that, hopefully, if I remember to film it. And then we're going to grab some beignets, maybe do some events or activities there, wander around. Plan is to get dinner at Sassagoula Floatworks. It's just a quick serve. It's nothing fancy. We did go to Boat Rights last year and absolutely loved it. I did not film that, but one of my favorite meals that we've had at Disney World. And then we went to Scat Cats Club last year as well, and we are returning. We had so much fun. So Monday, we want to take advantage of those bikes and doing all of that activities at the fort, just hanging out. We want to go mini golf, and because we booked a package deal, so that package at Walt Disney World means that you're getting a resort and theme park tickets. In order to do a package, you have to do a minimum of 2 days in the parks. So you can see on here, we have a day for Epcot and a day for Magic Kingdom. So that does qualify us as a package deal. And so we got free mini golf. So we're excited to do that. We're going to go mini golfing and just kind of bum around. We don't have much of a plan for that day, which is very unusual for us. But that evening, we do have a signature dining restaurant reservation at Topolino Terrace, which is at the Riviera Resort. That's a resort along the Skyliner route. I tried scheduling it so that we're there at the end of our dinner will be fireworks at Epcot, because they have a cool lookout to watch the fireworks. I think we've never been up there. We've heard mixed reviews on the quality. It does look quite expensive. We're spending more money on some of these signature dining on this trip because it's a countdown to our wedding. So we've decided to splurge on that. And you can kind of see we aren't spending money in some of these other areas that we maybe would have. But we did do some splurges on this trip, so I'm so excited. We're doing the early entry, which comes with staying at a Disney resort. So 8:30 a.m. the gates open, which actually they typically open a little bit earlier than that. So you do want to be there. Buses start an hour before. So we want to be on the first bus to get over there so we're actually there when it opens. However, we do not plan on rope dropping anything. Maybe we do have the Fast Pass or Lightning Lane for Guardians of the Galaxy down here. That would be our number one ride that we want to do in Epcot. But we want to tour the countries in Epcot while it's slow. Just spend our time exploring Epcot and taking it super slow. We don't know Epcot very well, and we don't love the rides in Epcot. Soaring's really cool. Living with the Land is cool. I appreciate Frozen. It's closed right now for the new animatronic faces. Remy's Ratatouille over in the Italian pavilion is cute. Not a must-do for me. I don't know. It's not going to be about the rides this time. We're going to do Fest of the Arts, food booths. Try not to snack around too much because we did score dining reservations at Le Cellier Steakhouse, which is in Canada, for 6:35 p.m., and that's another signature dining. It's going to be quite expensive. We've heard really great things about this, though, so excited for that one. There is the Broadway concert series as part of the Festival of the Arts, so we hope to go to that. I have no idea who's playing that day, and there's multiple times. I think the first one's at 5:30. One of them's during our dinner, and then 8 p.m. And then the fireworks at 9. Wednesday, we did snag horseback riding at 9:30 a.m. Excited to show you that. I've been riding since I was 8 years old and was actually a horse wrangler myself out west. Maybe I'll sneak a picture in here I don't know, I think that's so cool I did that. great memories. I love it that I went out there and did that. I'd be happy to share my experiences with anyone who wants to ask about it. But I love the horseback riding. I've done it twice before already at Disney World and great experiences. It's not an exciting horseback ride though. For anyone who's looking to like go on an adventure, it is not an adventure. It is a safe trail ride. The horses do their job and that's it. Like, but I love it for what it is and the history of horses involved in the parks, and the fact that they're still there in 2026 is so cool with the liability and everything that Disney is. I'm so glad that they've never gotten rid of horses, but horses were such a big part of Walt Disney's history. So there's that. They did open up Sam's Grotto in Polynesian Resort, which is one of the deluxe resorts along the monorail, has now started opening up at 11 a.m. You do need reservations to get in there. It used to be that they would open up reservations at 2 p.m. and then open at like 5. But now you can do, and you had to be on site and like go to it to make that reservation. And they were hard to get. There would be a line to get a reservation. They now offer them in the app. So I just learned that on YouTube. So that'll be our first time doing that. We've been in there once before after Ohana. Big mistake. We were so full from Ohana. We were not digging it. So I'm hoping we enjoy our time down there. So many people rave about it. So excited to go again and try it out. But we plan on doing a monorail or a boat pub crawl, like a lounge crawl. However, I've never been to the Citrico's Lounge. It opens at 5 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday, and that shares a kitchen with Victoria and Albert's, which is that 5-star Michelin restaurant on Disney World property in the Grand Floridian. So the two restaurants are located right next to each other at the Grand Floridian, and we would like to go and try that just for an appetizer and a drink and then leave, because Victoria and Albert's is like, I don't remember, $280 per person for the meal, and then you can do a wine pairing for another $175. Don't quote me on those prices. I should probably Google them and put them on the screen here. Anyway, not an expert when it comes to that. I've never done it. Magic Kingdom then on Thursday. So we do try to pick our days of the week to the crowd levels, as well as keeping a day between them for recovery that's a little bit more relaxing, because we're getting old. But we are starting out our morning with the Keys to the Kingdom tour. That is the backstage tour in Magic Kingdom. Really excited for that. You get to go down into the utilidors, which are actually the first level of Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is built on a swamp, so it is not the basement. It's technically the first floor, but it is underground, if that kind of makes sense, because they've leveled it off into kind of a hill. You do get to go usually on the Haunted Mansion and the Jungle Cruise during that tour, as well as lunch, usually hosted at either Pecos Bill or the Columbia Harbor House. So we plan on doing that. The tour usually lasts somewhere between 4 and 5 hours, and I'm hoping we can get out in time. I have a lightning lane then scheduled for Pirates of the Caribbean right after we get out of our tour. So hopefully we make it over there in time, and if not, that's okay. We can just scan into Haunted Mansion and go do that, because we interrupt. So I was going through the footage, putting it on my computer before we leave, and one of the files was corrupt. I've never had that happen before. But I was explaining our Friday schedule, which is one of the most important ones. It's Magic Kingdom. So I'm going to return in this shadowy thing of the sun and tell you the rest about our tour day and the rest of our trip. So on that tour, you do a ride through on the Haunted Mansion and the Jungle Cruise, and it's not a normal ride through. During the tour, you get like earbuds that the tour guide then talks to you. And so it's a specialty kind of behind the scenes ride through where they tell you the history of the ride and some of the secrets of it. And then you eat lunch at typically either at Pecos Bill, I hope I said that right, or Columbia Harbor House. I'm hoping for Columbia Harbor House. I like their fish and chips. But Pecos Bills is good too. It's just tacos. So they do a taco bar. And you end up, during that tour, you also go through like behind the scenes backstage in the utilidors. You go backstage to see the water treatment where they treat the water for Pirates of the Caribbean, It's a Small World, Tiana's, Bayou Adventure, all of those. Tiana's is what used to be Splash Mountain. Which I'm excited. Later on in the day, we have Lightning Lane for Tiana's. So as soon as we're done with our Keys to the Kingdom tour, it's supposed to be around 4 to 5 hours based on how many questions there are and how quickly the group moves, how fast we eat, all that kind of stuff. So if we get done on time, we do have our first Lightning Lane scheduled for Pirates of the Caribbean. And then we'll go do Haunted Mansion, and then we have a Lightning Lane for Tiana's. It's supposed to be so cold, though. I hope we don't get wet. They've got to have that calculated. I've been on it so many times. I've never gotten wet, but now I see all these ride-throughs and, like, TikToks and people getting just drenched. That's not going to happen, right? Do I sense foreshadowing? It would be so cold. There's no way. Anyway. And then I'd like to be able to pop out and do the parade. It's technically the 3 o'clock parade, but if you go watch it down on Main Street, it doesn't get to that part of Main Street until 3:15. So depending on where we are and where we end up after Tiana's and how cold it is, we'll go watch the parade. And then we have a fast pass for Tron. And then I put spring rolls on my schedule because I've heard so many amazing things about these dang spring rolls, and I've never tried them. So I'd like to try spring rolls, and that's just my reminder to go get spring rolls. They brought back the light parade. They call it the Starlight Parade, and that's at 7:45 every night. I saw the one back in the 90s when I was a kid, and it's one of my core memories from when I was a kid. So I'm excited to see that, plus what I do for full-time work. I'm really curious of what Disney did with this and the Imagineers, what they came up with, and how they've incorporated technology. I'm also really curious if I recognize any of the manufacturers of the lights. So super curious, but I don't know. Maybe I should just enjoy it for what it is and not analyze it. Yeah. That's going to be my goal, but also hard. But do I want to? I don't know. I almost want to watch it twice. Anyway, then we'll see fireworks. We also then have a really quiet morning Friday morning. This is really unusual for us to have a quiet morning like this, but we have hair appointments at the Grand Floridian Spa. We wanted to go try out the spa services. Cole didn't want to dedicate to doing an entire massage. And so I was like, well, how about a haircut for you? You can get a nice beard trim and haircut. I'm hoping they didn't have a specific one for men, but I'm hoping that's what they do for them. And I'm just going to get my hair braided because there wasn't much of anything else I wanted to do with my hair. And since we're just doing hair appointments, I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I love getting my hair played with. And it hasn't been braided in forever. So I'm going to just get it braided. I'm hoping I think they called it, oh gosh, they had a term for it as special braids, but I don't know. I'm hoping for like Dutch French braids, if that makes sense. I don't know. And then we have dinner at Narcoossee's. I'm excited for that as well. That's also at the Grand Floridian. So we'll probably just hang out along the monorail somewhere there. I don't know. Go to the electrical pageant that evening and watch the fireworks after Narcoossee's. I'm assuming we'll go somewhere for a nightcap and wind our night down because in the morning we have to pack up camp, be sad, be dramatic and throw a tantrum, and depart. Checkout is at 11 a.m. So we'll probably get on the road at a reasonable time then just so that we are home and have a day to recoup at home, sleep in, and rest up before we have to go back to work on Monday. So that's kind of our plan for the week. I'm excited to take you guys along with whoever you guys are. I don't know. I feel silly calling you guys. I'm going to move. This is too bright. There, can you see me? All right. Well, anyway, I don't know how this ties into the video that I filmed yesterday. Obviously, today's a new day. I'm going to film in-depth look of what we're packing to take with. It's supposed to be 26 degrees when we get there, which is the coldest it's been in Florida since 2009. So we've camped at Fort Wilderness multiple times before. Obviously, it's never been this cold because we didn't go in 2009. So I'm excited to see what that looks like and how we're going to experience it. And I want to give you guys some feedback in case you're packing. There's a lot of chatter in the Facebook groups, people wondering how to deal with this cold. They do not want to cancel their trips. I'm just trying to figure out how to pack and be festive. I love dressing up for my park days. How do I do that with a winter coat? I feel like it's Halloween and I'm a little kid who wants to wear my costume in Wisconsin, but I can't because I have to put a winter coat over it. Normally that's not something I have to deal with in Florida. Okay, well, I'll see you later. Bye. Real quick, just in case you wanted to also mail something to Mickey and Minnie and you wanted their address, here is the address that I was able to find for them online. We'll see if they work. That's the California Disneyland one, and here is the Florida Disney World address. So just in case you wanted those, there they are.